All right, do you struggle with an inside takeaway? If you do, you got to understand how devastating this is to your swing because it makes it so difficult to get everything to come back down on plane and use your body correctly because the club, as I'm going to show you here with a student here, this is Mary. She's a rock star student. You've seen her in some of the live lessons that I've done, but she was really ripping the club way inside here. You can see here the club is devastatingly inside. And what this really does is it starts to pull your body out of position because now the momentum of the club and the mass swing around your body starts stretching muscles in a way that they don't want to be stretched in a way that's going to be effective for the downswing. So when this happens, it's very difficult to get the club to work and your body to work correctly. You can see now she's super flat, off plane, and way back behind. Now, on the swing on the right, after we did a little bit of work with the 4-square drill, which if you're not familiar with that, I'm going to put a link to that in the description. But what you'll see is that using that 4-square drill and giving her a couple of the little tricks of the trade, if you will, now the club's going back on plane. And so now she can focus on loading her hips going back and feel that load in the right hip so that she can use that to drive and shift her weight back to the left. That now the club is going back up on plane through her hands, through her forearms, much better plane there. And so now instead of her body getting pulled way out of position and the arms rotating aggressively inside, now she can get the club in a position where she can really use her legs coming down and it gets in her better position at the top. So what is the 4-square drill? Well, I've got a video on the site that's been up there for many years, but I'll just give you a quick run through of it. If you want to take a look at the video afterwards, it'll help you out understanding this concept. But basically what I do is I draw a line through the balls of the feet, and then one through the center of the legs. And then I divide this into quadrants. And so you can imagine this is, if I can get my little pencil tool, basically this would be box 2 down here. Try to draw a really crude 2. There we go. So this would be box 1, 2, 3, and 4, so on. During the backswing, during the takeaway especially, what you want to feel is that this club never goes into box 3, which is what most people do. And if you watch as she goes back, the club immediately enters box 3 and is going way deep and around, deep into box 3. And this is what happens when people try to create depth in their swing by moving their arms and hands. Remember, your arms and hands create the vertical motion in the swing, and then the body rotation of the hips, core, and pelvis cause the depth in the swing. And when you try to create that depth with your arms, then all bets are off. So now you can see that she's already in box 3. Now, when you look at it from as she's doing the drill, if I'll just quickly draw these lines here again. And again, I do a much better job explaining this, not on video, but when I'm doing the drill, I've got clubs laid out so you can lay out this little grid for yourself. And I'll show you exactly how we did that in the video. But so now you can see how the club is staying more in box 2. And then during the end of the takeaway with the club kind of around I actually laid a club down here for right around the ball of her foot. And so during the takeaway, that club and hands can be over that line or on the inside in box 2 again, but it can't go into box 3. And the only way that club goes into box 3 is that you continue to rotate. And so as she continues to turn, then the club goes into box 3, but it's happening much later at a much higher elevation point than where she was doing before. So if you're not familiar with this 4-square drill concept, take a look at the video in the description or click the link you see on your screen, and it'll help you understand how to fix this inside takeaway and how to get the club going back on plane without having to do any goofy tricks or trying to manipulate the club with your hands. It's actually just making everything simpler.